I wrote this one 3 nights ago. All these are short because 2 nights ago when I was printing these up to read here, I was on a lot of back medicines, like this much the doctor knew about and this much he didn't know about, so it was making me have a real short attention span, and that's why these are all so short. These amber waves of grain. Martin liked to stay drunk around his son. As a lesson, an example of what not to do, how not to be. So, the more excessive or irresponsible or plain old criminal his behavior, the better it was for his son. The only real problem with this, aside from fines and health and all that, was that nobody realized what a good parent Martin was, what a sacrifice he was making. Not just his liver, but his soul. Give them time, though, he told himself. In a few years, all his neighbors' kids were going to be in pre-AA mode, their eyes furtive over every Thanksgiving turkey. Martin's son's eyes would be different then, he knew. More focused, less seething with vague resentment against all adults, brimming over instead with promises not to be an embarrassment like one specific adult, not to be anything like him at all. Martin had no doubt it would work either. After all, the way he learned not to yell was by growing up in a loud house. Mad people always storming up and down the halls, throwing brushes and ashtrays, and once the cat, who screamed the whole way through the air too, adding to the din. His son was lucky, really, lucky that Martin's own father had been a strict teetotaler, so that alcohol had an almost mythic quality for Martin at 12, at 13, and on until the day they finally put his father in the ground, unpickled 20 years later. And of course, the person who least understood all of this, it was Martin's wife, the boy's mother. Her father had been a conglomerate of 5 or 6 different live-in boyfriends. Needless to say then, her expectations were low. Actually, she seemed to be more satisfied with Martin the less he surprised her. Like his behavior just confirmed her suspicions in the world, hardened them into certainties. No, the person who understood the least, the person who was the least grateful of anybody, that was Martin's son himself. The fights they had in the living room could draw sirens from all over town, which, for Martin, was always a chance for another lesson. You don't want to resist arrest, son, or run from the authorities, either, or smart off, or throw things, the cat, or try to take any of the neighbors hostage with one of those garden hoses with a spray attachment. Not only will the police not negotiate with you, but after they've tackled you, they'll sometimes turn your weapon of choice back on you to sober you up. These were lessons of irony. During them, Martin would stare at his son, trying to make them take. When it was all said and done, though, the weekend over, the footage passed around to all the interested parties, another arraignment burning an effigy in the back of Martin's mind. Then his son would show him the only affection they both understood. Walking up the long concrete hall to sign Martin out again, his footsteps falling for all the world not like a boy's at all, but like the boy's grandfather's, whose own father must have been a drinking man, if Martin knew anything at all about the true nature of things.